FM, baby, I'm gone. Look who's in business is back. Rachel, the credit lady, presents the Fifth Annual Networking Shopping Event that will expand and take your business to the next level.
You said away and left me with nothing to say. But you already knew I would come searching anyway. So I sailed across the sea to see if you were there waiting for me, but you were not. So I sailed back with a broken heart. I waited till 3 to see if you would come looking for me, but you did not. So I fell asleep with a broken heart.
Okay, 1655 10th Street, Sarasota, Florida. For more information, call back 941-266-8224. That's 941-226-8224. Or you can reach them at architecturalwalldecor.com.
Every room at the beautiful downtown studios of WRBA Radio 107.5 on your FM dial, baby. For all you guys that are out there in the FM land, just turn that dial to 107.5. Lock it in. You ain't got to never turn it again. I got to say it once again. These Thursdays come rolling around, and I'm just so happy that they do, because you know what? We get to get the big dog jamming out with the old school throwback jamming out, man. The building was doing like this from the old school stuff, man. That's awesome, and it's all that and extra napkins. So we're gonna encourage you guys to just tune in to WRBA 107.5 on your dial. Hey, if you don't have the app yet, make sure that you go to your app store and just type in WRBA Radio. A black and white icon will appear. You can download that thing for free, and you can listen to us anywhere you are in the world. Man. And that's crazy to think about. Some little black boys here from little small town called Newtown and the west coast of Florida could be heard worldwide. And that's the beauty of the technology, baby, because that's what it is. You know, we're in 49 different countries. You know, my favorite country, and I hope they hear me when I shout them out, is that little country next to Saudi Arabia called Oman. That's it, boy. They listen to us in Oman. And down in Aruba and all that, Jamaica, come, I want to take you. Anyway, this is the recovery room. Listen, you can just go to our website, though, and you can just type in, the website is WRBA1075.com. You can go there. There's some information may need to be updated. You know, we're all busy people. So can't get it all done all at one time, but we're going to get it done. But you can listen to us live there, and that's also anywhere on your cell phone, on any kind of mobile device you got, laptop, Mac box, whatever all them boxes are.
Oh, Sarah's on. Hey, Sarah.
Hey, Sarah. How you doing, Sarah?
Ooh, keep it up, baby.
Yes, please do. Ooh. So, you know, it's always a pleasure, man, to come here. The days that we do the show, which, right, if you don't know, right now we're doing the show on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And so on those days off, I'm missing you guys. And during the day before the show, it's time to come on the show, I'm thinking about you and thinking about, what to say and or praying on it, trying to get that just right message for that just one person that just might need it. You know what I mean? And that's what we do here. We talk about everything prevention. We talk about everything treatment. We talk about everything recovery. But our focus, to be honest with you, on the two extremes, the prevention and the recovery. See, because if we can get to where they never start, we ain't got to never worry about them going to treatment and recovering, at least from a drug addiction. We found out there's so much to be addicted to. There's always something that's there to distract us from our appointed mission, is what it just kind of looks like. You know what I mean? But realistically, prevention is the key. But then if you're getting up, going through that, down through that muck, of addiction, which for those of us who've been in it, it's a struggle, man. That struggle's real. Did we say hi, Christy, yet? There's Christy. You guys say hi to Christy. Don't she just beauty up the place? Yes, just beauties the whole recovery room up. And boy, if you know a story, you'd be smiling from ear to ear. But at any rate,
by the grace of God, baby.
yeah, man. Yeah, that's for sure. And that is awesome. And that's for you guys that are out there. We'll do some before and after pictures at some point. Or not. No, thank you. Me neither. But at any rate, and then recovery is where it's at, man, because, you can go through a treatment facility 15, 20 times. And when you step out those doors and you hit that hard concrete and you done messed around and ruined all your relationships, you lost your job, your mom don't even want to talk to you. You know what I mean? Your family, your kids, you just have alienated everybody. And it's tough.
Lawyers and bill collectors.
Yeah.
They're there.
Yeah, they're going. Ooh, Lord. They're there and they call you. They use different numbers and all that. Anyway, Judy says hi. At any rate, recovery is where it's all at, man, because if you got a good recovery program, it is the best thing that can happen to you in your life, really, because sometimes, they like that old saying, right? A saint is just a sinner who fell down. You know what I mean? Sometimes, those people who have fallen down get the opportunity to be the biggest, baddest warriors on the planet. You know what I'm saying? And so, maybe everybody's got to go through their own. Everybody does go through their own muck, but everybody's got to find their recovery. And that's the most important part. And in that recovery, you've got to find yourself a real strong support group. Well, obviously, we suggest the rooms of NA and AA and Eaters Anonymous and Gamblers Anonymous, whatever it is that thing that is your addiction. There's a group out there that can help you. But then you got to make sure that you surround yourself with some people. I mean, again, suggested for those who have come out and they don't have anywhere to go. Start looking up some sober living facilities, some transitional living facilities. Just Google it, man. You ain't got no excuse. I mean, even at our darkest time, we had a cell phone. That's the craziest thing about the cell phone, boy. The addict don't even lose his cell phone.
Not normally.
Because you got to be able to get to your people.
Your resources and support systems are key to your recovery, most definitely. Yeah,
I mean, you got to have some people around you that have what it is that you want. I mean, and that's just the bottom line. And so recovery, that's why we call this recovery room, because we want to talk about it. We want to give you guys, some ideas and some resources and some things that, that you can do to make that recovery that much more successful, because that's what we're looking for, right? We're looking for a successful recovery, just like we're looking for success in life. The two just go together. You've got to, most people don't plan to fail. They fail.
And
thank you. Everybody's got it now. It's working. It's working. I hope you guys got it like they got it here in the studio.
Say hi.
Hey, that's your peeps over there. Hey, what's up, peeps? Yeah, everybody's got it. And I hope that's what's happening out there in this universe. Is that maybe that we keep saying the same thing every day and pounding some of these things in. If the guys here in the studio get it, I'm hoping that you guys get it out there. And matter of fact, let me give a big shout out here to the boys in the studio. My big dogs over here on the ones and twos. We got Don Dean over there, the AV guy. He tries to stay off the camera. But you know what? Y'all remember Tuesday when they wasn't here? Boy, I was the AV guy. I was the engineer. She was the camera woman. We're running back and forth trying to get things done. But you know what? This is what perseverance looks like. This is what recovery looks like. You regroup, baby. You know what I mean? You do whatever it is you got to do to make what you got to have happen. and it got partially recorded. The camera kept going off, and and all that. But you know what we got? It's on the YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, I am thinking that I'm going to shut this down here in just a little while, so I can force you guys to go to YouTube, or I won't do that. But what you know what? Go to YouTube. Type in the search. Type in WRBA 1075. And then a red dot will come up. Hit that red dot, and you'll go to the WRBA page. There should be an option to do videos and go live, and then you should be able to do our live stream that we are moving to YouTube, because our AV guy has worked really hard and diligently to get this thing up and running, where we got this 2 camera feed. If you look in it, we can go back and forth to camera. You can get Christy's good side. You can get my good side.
I have a good side?
Yes, you do, honey. You got a good side. So having said all that, this whole night, I want to, well, I ain't going to say the whole night. I can go off on tangents all the time, but I want to talk about something that we started out talking about, something that we started out really wanting to address. And of course, we're talking about the epidemic, which is the drug, and in particular, opioid / fentanyl epidemic that we're going through here currently, and still it's not getting any better. And we got to do some things about that. One of the things is to try to save that person close to you. We all know somebody that's out there in the struggle, man. We got to be there for them, because guess what? There is the other thing that we'd like to address, there is a real stigma attached to being an addict. And it's one that kind of follows you around. Doesn't matter what it is you're doing. Once, the people got you pegged or planted in stigma garden where you can't grow. Once an addict, always an addict. Well, that's kind of somewhat true, but there's some people that are out there that are getting their lives together. And the thing that we've always had to do and that we need to do is support them. We need to find those triggers to trigger them on to greatness, to trigger them on to a successful recovery. Okay. And that's got to be our mindset. How do we help? We know that one of the main things is love. I mean, we know that's the one thing that we all need. What's that word again? LOVE. We all need a little bit more of that. And not just some kind of little mushy type of love that, not no, excuse me, ladies, not no Lifetime movie type love.
Kind, unconditional, understanding.
Yeah, enduring.
Deal with you.
Enduring, caring type love. You know what I mean? That's what's just got to happen, and so, an interesting thing happened on, what was it? No, it was a show Monday.
Tuesday?
No, Tuesday was when we was running around by ourselves, right? It didn't happen that night, did it? Or did it? Whatever it was, a very interesting thing happened on the way to the end of the show.
That part.
Yeah, it was, and it's kind of interesting. We had it was a very, because Christy obviously is just started doing the show, and she's not here by accident. She's here because she has made a decision to dedicate her time and her energy to helping others that are in recovery based on her own experience with recovery, and that is with relapse, and that is with overdose, and that is with whatever it is. Yes. And it's an everyday struggle. So go ahead, take it, Chrissy. Let's talk about what happened. Hey, hold it. Are you guys on YouTube yet? Okay, anyway. Let's talk about this, because this is a very one of them, I guess, teachable moments, I think.
Okay. I think for every addict, you realize as you're coming out and you're rebuilding yourself, it's hard, and you are daily not only fighting your own demons and your own impulses to continue to be clean that day, or proving to your family or friends or others that you're on the right track, because you're going to be second guessed no matter what, every step of the way. So I think when I look at the stigma, it's the stumbling of every addict, you're already fighting yourself, and then you are going to continue fighting society and everyone around you. Unfortunately, often, not unfortunately, unintentionally or more intentionally, people have their opinions of how they feel about addicts, your actions, your behaviors, how you feel, what you're doing. It's a constant,
How you look.
How you look. I have too much eye makeup on today. I didn't keep my head up, you know. Sorry, you know. I got out of bed today and made out of the house, you know, or I decided today to stay clean, you know. That was my battle for the day. You know, nobody knows what somebody's triggers or fears are, and they can be addressed in a whole lot of ways. You know, a lot of addicts, you already deal with the shame and guilt, and it's hard to address society or people or yourself some days, or God or your faith. You know, we talk about faith and fear and faith, and you know, it's hard to pick your head up. So let's all be there to support somebody. The kind words go a long way. And if you see somebody in a rut, or you see somebody stuck or in a moment, help them. Put the judgment to side and maybe give them that benefit of doubt that maybe today's a better day for them, and let them roll with that. There's
Bravo. Well
my
said.
thoughts on that.
Very well said. I mean, because that's just the reality, you know. The people are not covers of books. People are the content of the book. You know, the covers are just like the dates born and the dates and the date died. It's that content that's in the between those covers that's what's important. So, you know, I always say don't judge a book by its cover, and so it is important that we don't attach these stigmas to and continue to attach it to people that you know they're already going through their own struggles. You know, they already got enough to think about and worry about, as opposed to having someone, you know, judge may be a strong word, but misread them, I think, is how I'd like to put that. You know, and so, Chrissy, didn't you have this really great definition of the stigma?
I did.
Do you have it available?
Give me a minute.
Okay.
So my phone I got going live.
All right, peace, big dog. Yeah, I'll turn it off.
All right,
All right. Big dog's out. Big dog is out the building. Boy, leaving the building. Boy, you got to get yourself a big dog. If you ain't got one, man, you got to have one of those people that every time you see him, they smiling. See, that's who I like in my life. Every time you see that man, he's got a big smile on his face. You know, happy. You know, and that's what we should. That's what we're going for. We're trying to bring people out of whatever depths they're in. You know, because Judy sent me something, and it reminded me of what's really going on. I mean, most of these things. I mean, you've got death that is caused by old age, right? And then you've got death that is caused by accidents. You know what I mean? You know, but then you've got deaths of despair, and deaths of despair probably record a whole lot more than all the rest of them. It's just that we don't recognize the despair. You know, depression and addiction and mental illness and poverty, man. You know, you're desperate when you're in poverty. You end up doing stuff and eating stuff that, you know, is not good for you, and over drinking and over smoking and slowly killing yourself because you're in despair. And so that word despair is got to get out of here. We've got to do our best as a nation, as a society, as a race, and I mean the human race, to do everything we can to reach out to our fellow man in the course of a day. And every time you get a chance, say and do something kind for somebody, so that people can know that like, for just to open the door for a woman would know that chivalry is not dead, you know, to help change a tire, whatever it is. You know, to talk to a kid that seems like they're lost out there, and give them some guidance and some, you know, mentor them. You know, there's just so much to be done, and there's so many of us, and so all of it can be done if we would all just take one little effort in the daytime to pass that kindness and that love on to somebody else. Guess what? There's an exponential value. It spreads. Okay, and I believe that the more love you give, the more love you get. You know what I'm saying? The more love you give, the more love you get. And that's probably the greatest exchange on the planet. You know, you don't get more time. You can't give more time and get more time. Once the time is gone, it's gone. You know, real estate, they don't make no more land. What land is there is there. You know, if you got it, you got it. If you don't, you don't. You know, but that love thing, man, it's in abundance. You know, and for some reason, a whole bunch of Nelson Mandela stuff has been coming up on my phone, and I don't know, because I did a Nelson Mandela here recently. I don't know what really necessarily happened, but it's sure been coming up. And this one came up today, and it's really simple, but it's real. You know, it says, no one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin or his background or his religion. People learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. You know, I mean, and just think about it, man. I mean, any kind of hate, any kind of even fear. I mean, when you come into this world, you have no fears. You're fearless. All you want is somebody to change your stinky diaper.
Feed me.
And so you ain't scared. Scared somebody's not gonna come change your diaper. But you don't have that. These are learned behaviors, okay? And just as we learn them, we can unlearn them, okay? And especially when we know who they are, what they are. Let me see what Judy's saying here real quick first, honey, before that, okay?
I've got your
Delta
paragraph
Airlines just yesterday agreed to have emergency Narcan on board their flights. However, as on Lacey Brady's many judge expressed her opinion that having that aboard was a crutch for the overdosing. Yeah, no, that's all crazy, you know. And even if that's the case, don't not save a life because of your opinion.
It's not a crutch. They're gonna do it anyways.
You're gonna not save somebody's life because it's your opinion that is gonna it causes people to be careless. That is on some level, but guess what it does on that other level? It saves a life.
Tell their mama that.
Yeah, tell that person's mama that they drug off of that Delta airline plane in a body bag. You know, you see that I was riding across the bridge the other day. The ambulance was there. Come to find out, it was somebody that was parked over in the parking lot, died of an overdose in their car because they had to pull over to the side and shoot up. These are deaths of despair. That is somebody that is in despair. You know, and we've got to get out of our heads this whole like, oh, they're just a bunch of junkies. You know, they're not worthy. They're criminal minded. They're morally corrupt. They're self-destructive. You know, even if that's the case, how are we going to help them? Because guess what? They are always. They're somebody's mother. They're somebody's brother. They're somebody's sister. Somebody's child. They belong to somebody's tribe, you know, and somebody loves them and somebody's longing for them to get themselves together. And maybe they can't help them. Maybe that prayer is playing for that person is being ricocheted over to you so that you can be the one to help them. Okay, now coming up, we found
I bet this right here. If you're
yeah,
whatever you're
We here's a good little short definition of stigma.
Says, to be put simply, a stigma is a perceived negative attribute about someone else that causes the person to think differently or less of the individual. So it's what, you know, you perceive that upon somebody else long enough, then they're going to start to perceive that upon themselves. And, you know, what's that run them back to?
Yeah.
What they know. You know,
Yeah. See, we don't know what people's triggers are, and all we can do is love. And if there is some, and it's great that there may be some sort of recognition that something's going on, but it should be addressed with some love and some concern.
That's why I'm here.
And some kindness and yeah, I mean, we're all here. See, every step we've taken, every breath we've taken, every heartbeat, every decision, everything that we have done, all the miles traveled up and down the highway, and all the baby's diapers that have been changed. I know I'm on the baby diaper thing today. I was thinking about my little baby. Anyway, have led us here to be talking about this. And so there's no coincidence that you're hearing this today. Let me see. Proving that stigma. Yeah, they'd rather have them die than to save them. Yeah, you're right. There's no accidents here. There are no coincidences. I mean, we're here for a reason. Chrissy, you've had so many friends that are no longer with us,
I think a total between the last 16 months, maybe 18 months, I think there's been a total of 29.
29, did you hear that? And it's 29 young people.
I went to high school with, I used with, I was close with, they're gone. Yeah.
Young people. And mainly deaths of despair.
3 suicides, the rest ODs. So if
3 suicides.
To that despair part of OD, it gets you the other way.
Yeah. And we kind of just put our heads in the sand, and would like to act and think like this is not our lives, but it is. And as we say every day, that there's a real I'm sorry, Dave, you guys beating up his camera. Anyway, every day there's somebody that needs some help. There's somebody that needs some kindness. There's somebody that needs a little bit of love. And if you are the person that can give it to them, don't not give it to them. Okay, give it to them. We talk every day about this whole new revival of the human spirit, about how the people like us who have been down through there will be some of the people that will be the most active, the most progressive in changing this restructuring of the human mind, the human spirit. See, because the human spirit is amazing. It's amazing throughout history, between women's suffrage and slavery and the LBGT fights and all that. Human beings they're real resilient. They're really kind of like, we don't give ourselves enough credit, and that's what we got to give to an addict. If you got an addict and because it gets bad, if you've got an addict that's got one day, and you can help them make that day count, then it's worth everything. Are you on YouTube? I'm gonna go. Go. Yeah, but it's worth everything. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, as far as your kind of like, a day is worth everything. Sometimes when you're in an inpatient rehab facility, you count 30 minutes at a time. If you can make it through this 30 minutes, then rethink what you were just thinking and see if you feel the same way in 30 minutes. If you can't make 30 minutes, try 15. Sometimes that day or that 30 days is too much. Sometimes you start an hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. Start with what you can start with and rethink your thinking. And if you want to leave, if you want the same thing you wanted 15 minutes ago, then wait another 15 minutes and see if you feel the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? A lot of time, if you count it like that, you'll make it that 30 days. And in that 30 days of your 30-day count and transformation, you're going to feel a whole lot different.
Yeah. And you're going to hit these bricks, though.
You can handle it, though. I mean, a lot of you say even a day, that's a long time for somebody, especially when you're feeling like crap and you don't feel, that's a long time. Take in 15 minutes. count your blessings, count your future, what your goals are.
Yeah.
Take in pieces.
Absolutely. That's really great advice. And actually what she's done is that she's broken down my 21 to 30 day challenges into moments, because sometimes that's how it is to get to that 21 day thing that I'm talking about. You got to do it a moment at a time sometimes, because it is that instant that impulse hits you that you've got to replace it with another thought, because those impulses are so strong because your brain has been convinced that this, and your body needs it, and your brain's been convinced that you can do it one more time, and that it's what you need and it's what you got to do. And if you can combat it, if you can just continuously, if it's just a moment at a time, however you. Oh, there it is. Now, yours that Facebook? I mean YouTube.
Yes.
All right, she's YouTubing us.
Got it.
Yeah, turn that down. I can't hear myself. I'm already double talking. Hey, Justin Brown. Hey, KCB. How you doing? Those are two of my boys. They're up in the same part of the woods right now. We got some people listening up in Kansas City, the Kansas City Bird. We ain't played Redemption in a while. We're gonna have to kick that Redemption back in, because that's what it's really all about. KC, KCB is a good friend of mine, and we've talked about his struggles, and and it's so good to have these people where that they've been through the struggle, what they've been through, and then you can see them come out on the other side and just be magnificent. I mean, just a benefit to the world and to humanity. KCB has traveled around the country spreading the word of love through his music. You know what I mean? He's got he ended up getting himself together, able to buy a house, donated that house to the Mimi Foundation, which is there for a homeless person if they need it. That is what this thing is all about. See, because when you come back, baby, you get to seeing this how the good life feels. You want a little bit more of it. I'm to get me some more, and then once you get it and once you start digging it, you know what I mean? You can pass it on. You become that light on the hill, that city up on the hill where, if you're out there, man, and you shipwrecked, you lost, and you see that light, it's like, oh shoot, there's light, there's life over there. Coming out of the dungeon, going for the light. Be that light, folks. That's all we do. This is all we talk about when we come on this show. I had to figure it out. I said, what the hell have I been talking about for a year and a half? Every day. The same thing. The same thing. The human spirit, how the revival, the redemption, the ability for humans to overcome obstacles that seem insurmountable. It was another Nelson Mandela quote that. See, my thing just took a screenshot by something. Anyway, it was another Nelson Mandela quote that said, "It all seems impossible till it's done." Right?
Everything seems impossible until it's done.
Everything seems, and then that's the flip side of you don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean? And so every time you get to thinking you're so doggone smart that you know everything, humble yourself and think. What did the guy say? What's the problem with the human race? Is that a majority of people don't think. They react. They react, and if they react, then they're not acting and thinking with their heart. See, this is what I just read the other day, and I'm gonna adopt it as a philosophy. The thing the dude said, the brain is stupid. Follow your heart. Your heart doesn't have conditions, doesn't have the ability to decipher all the stuff. It only feels what it really is. Okay. And sometimes we spend so much time with the paralysis of analysis. We try to sit around and think things all the way. Oh, let me think this thing through. Well, while you're thinking, somebody's doing. You know,
for sure.
Why are you thinking somebody doing it? And if you guys don't know Lisa Nichols, y'all need to Google her or hit her on YouTube or something. You want to hear somebody tell you like how a TI is?
She'll introduce you to the world like none other.
Yeah. You know what I mean? This is the reality, man. This is no dress rehearsal, man. This is all you got. You know, you don't get to do this over again and over again and over again, because one time you're gonna run out of time, because that's the one thing that they don't make no more of. You know, so you got to what did she say? You got to make a proclamation to the world. You know, you got to let them know I am here. I am to be reckoned with. You know, and then you got to make it to yourself.
Unforgiving. She said, "Don't ask for forgiveness. Just warn the world.
Yeah,
you are here.
Yeah,
make your presence known."
Yeah, man. You don't. You can't go back and change any of it. All you can do is move forward. You know, that's why they put your eyes on the front of your head instead of on the back. That'd be ugly. You walk around with your eyes on the back of your head. So yes, look forward.
Closing it first. Don't try to explain to everybody. Just close it.
Yeah. Do what it is you got to do. You know, step outside of what you've been doing and change it. Change is good, man. Don't worry about it. You know, I know. See, that's it. And that's the other thing that the psychologist said is the problem with man is one word that God it kind of like really hit me. It is conformity. It is just, you know, you do the same thing the same way. That's the same thing with addiction and habit. It's conforming to someone else's thing. You do it over and over and over again, and you conform to it, and then you stay there, and it becomes your comfort zone, you know. And most people don't want to step outside of it. Most people are going to live all of their days in that comfort zone, not even ever really getting to feel what that exhilaration of accomplishing stuff. You know, most people would just rather make sure that they got the thing for the day. They go back and forth. They get to the job. They know that they're going to get $378 on Friday. You know, just conform. Just you know what it is what it is. And it is not what it is, because you can, as human beings, you know, we can do whatever we want to do in this life. The Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. And so whatever the mind of a man can believe, can conceive and believe, it can achieve all these things, right? It all says the same thing, right? Think it, and it can be done. Think and grow rich. Think and grow sober. Think and grow your relationship. With those people that are having problems in their relationships, marriage, you know, think about what do you do to make it better, or think about getting gone. You know, I mean, those are your options, right? So I don't know. We talked a whole lot about this whole conformity, conforming, and then which then brings up its cousin, procrastination.
I was going to ask you about the concept. I'm using that word for the last couple of days. Where's the concept and the conformity, concept of thinking, transporting?
Yeah. It becomes a concept. You know, that's what they used to always say. Reality. Wow, what a concept.
That part.
You know, the reality is that, again, we can train these brains to do whatever we want them to do. It does not differentiate, especially your super ego and your ego. They do not differentiate between something being imaginary and or real, unless again it is real and you're forced to fight or flight. That's a real thing. But what we imagine in our mind, and so we said that's what the known psychologist, noted philosopher said. You know, it is like we don't know. What was I talking about?
I was talking about concept and transport. And,
transport,
mind and brain,
and all that. See, mine
process, maybe,
had too many things going at one time, and they collided. No, we were talking about whether the brain knows whether it's real or whether it's imagined. It just does not, you know. And so whatever you put in there is what's going to come out. And so why not? Why not put good stuff in there? Why not flood it with good? In the world of information in which we live in, why not fill it with Googling some stuff? Why not read some books that are about some stuff that you care about? Are you a archer? Do you like archery? Read some books on archery. You know, listen to some things, go to some archery competitions, talk to some archers, involve yourself with the things that you want. If you want to be in radio, go to a radio station. I got one. I'll give you the boy number named Ronnie Phelps. You can come talk to him. And if you want to be in radio, you might get the opportunity. You got to come talk to him. No, you just can't be on it. You know, you might want to come talk to him. He might put you on the radio if that's what you want to do. That's what happened to Les Brown. You know, Les Brown kept showing up at the station every day until one day they let him go and get the coffee, you know. And then one day the DJ didn't show up, and he'd been watching the DJ enough. He was able to run the doggone show. He was there. They needed him. He had a job. You see, we don't know what we don't know. You know, there are no coincidences, though. Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Christy's here for a reason. I mean, you know, and it's got off to a really great start because we got to see firsthand how it is when someone thinks they see something. We were talking about fear and faith, right? Fear and faith, what they have in common is they both require you to believe in something you can't see. That thing that you're fearing all day, you can't see it, but you fear it. That thing that you're believing for, that the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen, you can't see it. So might as well have the faith, because the fear is paralyzing, but the faith can move you forward. I mean, I would say that you're a prime example, Chrissy. I've seen you come a long way, you know. Yeah, don't get all choked up.
You don't ever know whether your next trip to recovery or your next trip trying not to go get high is going to work out. Maybe one could be better than the other because the high doesn't ever seem to get any better than the last. And, when you're ready, you see that there is that actually other side to it.
Yeah, it is. It is redemption.
And it happens when, not by coincidence, it's going to come to you when you're ready, when you're willing to receive it.
And that's absolutely right. And, and it's one of those few times in this life where you can surrender and win. Surrender and win. Imagine that. We most of the time, us guys, well, I'm not going to surrender. I'm fighting to the death. No, this is at one time where you can surrender and win. And the other time was when you give your life to Jesus Christ. But surrender. But you got to surrender. You've got to say and realize, as they say in the rooms, you're powerless. You're powerless over it. You have no power over it. It has every bit of power of you until you can take it back, until you can find that space where you can replace that impulse and replace that habit and that cycle with a new one. And it takes time. Take the challenge. Take it a moment at a time, as Chrissy said, but I want to give it to you in a 21-day thing. Every day, wake up in the morning and let your first thought be about something that you're grateful for. That usually could just be as easy as that you got some breath in your body, that your eyes open and you can see, that there's something to be smelt. You can smell it, so let that first thought be about gratitude and something that you're happy about. And then get up and sit on the side of the bed and give yourself 30 seconds. Give yourself a minute if you're brave. Give yourself 30 seconds of visualizing what you really want to look like. Visualizing what it would look like to be clean and to be active and productive. Visualize it. And don't just visualize it, but try to feel the feelings that are associated with it. associated with that visual. That's how our dreams work, right?
Maybe write them down because you might have to.
No, maybe.
It's a whole.
Maybe write them down.
It's hard to. I mean, that's hard to like keep back in your brain to really get on.
Yeah.
Really get you up, depending on where you are. Takes a lot.
Yeah. Yes, definitely write them down.
Read them over.
There's magic in writing them
up.
down. I don't know what the magic is, but I know there's magic in writing it down. It makes it more real. But then after you write down that, after you do that positive visualization, and you felt what it feels like to be in that space that you visualize, then write down what your goal is for that day. For most of us, it's going to be not getting high. And write down ways that you can make that happen. Write down 5 of them. 5 ways that you can avoid getting high that day. For you guys that are maybe starting a business or doing a relationship, it's the same thing. The same thing applies. You guys when you wake up, do a positive visualization. What is it that you want to do? Do you want to be that person that's at the front of the room that's giving your testimony and leading people onto success? Then you got to visualize yourself standing there, and you got to see your mouth moving and hear the words coming out of your mouth. And you've got to feel that feeling of, wow, the exhilaration of you being that person that is motivating a group of people. You got to feel that. Okay. Visualize it, see it, close your eyes. Don't be scared. Close your eyes, close your eyes and visualize it. Feel the feelings and then write down your goal. If you need to talk to 5 people that day to get what it is you need, whatever your business is, whatever your thing is, write that down. And then write down some people that you can go talk to. But you got to see again, people don't plan to fail. They
fail to plan.
Thank you. Thank you, AV guy. You know what I mean? And I've been about as guilty as anybody. I think I got this what they call eidetic memory, where I can remember everything. I've missed and lost some of my greatest thoughts by not writing it down. And you know what else you got these days? You got these high-end smartphones, smarter than most of us, by the way, that you can now record that thought into that smartphone. And that works just as well as far as I'm concerned. Let's up the game. We got technology. I used to carry around a little micro cassette recorder. You don't have to do that anymore. It's in this phone. That's phone that is about as brilliant and it can do more than the computers that sent a rocket to the moon.
Your desk, your computer, and your assistant all combined.
Yeah. So it could do it all. And so write it down and or talk it down, record it, and then on the back or at the end of it, here just write. Ask and it shall be given. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and the door shall be open. Just write it on the back of the piece of paper, because this is kind of sealing it with a little bit of God's work. Okay. And then write it and then fold it out and put it in your pocket, whatever it is. But refer to it. When you get to that point where you're having that urge, pull out that piece of paper and remind yourself where you're trying to go. Stop for a minute and revisualize what that thing is you're trying to do and that feeling that you're trying to get. This, my friend, is training the brain for success. It is not succumbing to every little impulse. And none of them are really little. I don't know why I said little, because the impulses are always very strong. It is those impulses that make you go out and steal from your mama, steal from your mates, go out and sell your body, break in somebody's house, sell something that is really valuable to you or a family heirloom. It is those impulses that make you act stupid. Okay, so act like we only use 10% of our brain, and then most of us damage about 5% of that, and so we've got to start up in the ante. We got to train this brain. It's like mental calisthenics, right? It's like mental calisthenics. You got to exercise the brain. It's a muscle as well. You got to exercise that thing. And I didn't say almost said exercise. You got to do that sometimes too, because I can see that head spinning around now.
So good.
Not so good. So what you got going on, Chrissy? Tell us a little about what you're doing these days with yourself, besides being the new co-host of the Recovery Room.
On that spot much, let me find that mark.
Yeah. Well, you know.
I am being grateful for today. It's one day at a time, but at the same spot, loving it, growing, making wonderful new relationships, friendships, building our business, getting in the gym, getting right, you know. When you can picture that future ahead, I'm gonna be right for that future. Be right for my babies, being good. That's what I'm focused on. That's what I'm working on.
Yeah,
I'm happy to be here, so thank you.
Yeah, no, you're doing a good job. And seeing what she said, that's what it is. It's a full package, man. It's a total package. It is not just that I'm gonna stop using, or I'm gonna stop overeating, I'm gonna stop gambling, I'm gonna stop looking at pornography. You know, it's not that at all. It is a whole, it's an entire thing. You want to get healthy physically by going to the gym or walking or whatever it is, getting your home gym, or just doing some calisthenics, push-ups or sit-ups, something consistent for your this tempo that we've been given, you know. And then we want to exercise the brain, the muscle that is responsible for all of our thoughts. We want to exercise our spirit. We want to reach out and find some more spirituality. You know, we want to exercise our emotional capacity to love and give love and be loved.
Learn love.
Yeah. You know, and so it's a whole big package. You don't want to do one. You don't want to get all healthy and not have the finances to enjoy it. You know, you don't want to have a whole bunch of money and not have your health. You know, so those two go so much together, right? One is kind of the other. You know, how much you have of either one of those is very, how much money you got and how much health you got. You know, but it's just like Steve Jobs said on his deathbed. He says, guys, it doesn't really matter about any of the money. It's all about personality. Because he said a $300 watch tells the same time as a $30 watch. You know, so don't get all twisted. No, let's not teach our kids the value of money. Let's teach them the value of relationships and what that money can do. You know, this is the world in which we live. It is up to us. I mean, I every day I get on here and I'm so grateful and I'm thankful. And I hope that you guys have gotten the message that we are going to YouTube. But you're just here. If I stay here for the rest of all time on this Facebook page and you guys that tune in, I mean, I'm so grateful for you. You know, this is a mission that I don't even know. You know, I didn't choose it. It kind of chose me. You know, way back when I was asked to direct a little short film. That was going to be a trailer for a feature film called White Slavery. And of course, white slavery is prostitution. The script was about a family, a mother and two daughters that were all addicted, dually addicted. They were doing crack and heroin, and they were all prostituting. And they were all kind of supporting each other and supporting this dude who was supporting their habits, you know, supplying their habits. And it was a really intense and gritty little piece. And unfortunately, it got left on the floor. The production went bad, whatever the case might be. And that's sad because some people worked their butts off on that. Maybe we'll get that back at some point. But the fact of the matter is that I just started meeting people. People started, you know, we were posting on Facebook. We're doing this film and it's about addiction. And then I just started meeting cool people like Lisa Brady and Jerry, who's on here. Catherine, who God bless, we saw she's up and about again. Catherine Betancourt, you know, all these people from these great organizations, the Umbrella Women. And I mean, I don't want to leave anybody out, but I mean, just a lot of these great people. And it just kept pulling me in, you know, and the next thing I know, it was just a part of my life. I actually started a company called Cope International. You can go to COPEINT.com, or you can just go to my website, tbonerose.com, and all this little stuff that we got going on is on there. And so it just kind of pulled me in. And so now it is a part of my life. And, be careful what you think about, right? Because what you think about the most is what you're going to attract to you. And I attract a lot of addicts to me, but guess what? It's how it's supposed to be. I have conditioned myself over this period of time to be available for that. And so every day when we do this show, you're hearing sincerity. This is not a paid gig here. This is just sincerity. This is just something now that Christy's joining. She's committed to do the same thing. This is something that we do so that we hope that somebody every day that we're here picks up something that is useful in their lives. So that they can go out and then be a blessing to other people. Can you read? Oh yeah, Jerry's listening. She said stigma is usually coming from people that have not walked the walk, or families that have not experienced it. Someone that in their diet is substance abuse disorder. And she's right. It's normally lack of knowledge until it happens to you. Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Jerry. Loved ones, when maybe you don't understand the loved ones really on that level or gone really, really that far down that path, you're still trying to hold them to they're further than that. And unless you can open your mind to that, you can't help them down there.
Yeah. Don't let them go there. If you recognize that they're having an issue, address it, and address it with love, whether it be tough love or whatever it is. You got to address it, because guess what? It's a really quick downward spiral. I've seen people go down in 4, 5, 6 months, going from productive individuals to just on the street in that amount of time. I mean, it doesn't take long. And so we can't keep sticking our heads in the sand and acting like it's not us. Oh, it didn't happen to me. No, it's happening to you. And it's going to get to you at some point. And I'm no prophet of doom. I hope not. I pray not. But chances are that they just busted the largest bust of cocaine and fentanyl in the history of Philadelphia here just recently. That stuff is coming in. And you know why it's coming in? Because there's a demand for it. And you know why there's a demand for it? Because there's people that are in despair. There are people that are suffering. There are people that are trying to mask their feelings, get away from who and where they are, trying not to feel that despair.
Once you're in it, there's no excuse. You're doing it to facilitate the physical demand.
Yeah, because it's mental and it's physical, and it is supply and demand. If there was no demand, they wouldn't even be bringing this stuff. It would be no place for it. There would be no reason for it. They just busted a submarine the other day with 100 kilos on it. It's crazy, man. They want to get it here because it's profitable, because we demand it. We live in a world that is, every third commercial is about taking a pill for something. If it's your back hurts, your neck hurt, you can't poop, there's a pill for it. And then, there's all these natural remedies. Hey, we didn't give our PMI shout out today. Listen, check out our Fitline lifestyle page on YouTube. Once you get off here, just go and click on it, like it. There's some really healthy stuff there. We're creating a really healthy lifestyle. My little story that I got to tell. How much time I got, Don? About 4 minutes. I can't get away without doing these two things. The first one is to tell my story about the dude who's sitting there at the desk, and he's brought some work from home, and his son is there. He's out of school. Son's running around banging them off the walls, jumping off the walls. You know how kids are when they're about 5 or 6, and you didn't give them all that sugar. So the dad's trying to get this work done because he's got to get it to work, and so he tells the kid, "Listen, I'll be able to play with you shortly." He rips out a piece of paper out of a magazine that has a globe of it, a picture of the world on it, and he tears it into little pieces, and he gives the kid a little Scotch tape, and he says, "Son, go and put this world back together, and when you're done, I should be done, and then we can go shoot some hoops, whatever it is you want to do." And so in about 5 minutes, the little boy was back, and he had the whole picture together. The world was together, and he said, "Wow!" Of course, he thought, "Wow! I mean, do I have a little genius here, or whatever?" And of course, he thought his baby was a genius from the beginning. But it kind of impressed him that he was able to put this together in 4 or 5 minutes. And he said, "Son, that is amazing. How did you do that?" And the little boy said, "Well, Dad, there was a picture of the man on the back, and I put the man together." And the world came together. And that is what we have to do. We have to be our brother's keeper. We have to be servants here on this planet. And so when we put ourselves together, when we put our own little worlds together, somehow that affects the world around us. They can see a glimpse. They can get an idea of what that looks like. Okay. And then last but not least, I have to do this one other thing, and I would be remiss in my duties if I did not. And it's going to be two things, actually. Here's the first one, love. Love is patient, love is kind. Love does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. Is that right, babe? What do you believe that?
That's for sure. Yes, you've taught me that 100%.
Well, thank you. That's a compliment. Here's my other one. You didn't give me the signal, Don. I thought I had another 2 minutes. I do? Okay, last one. Are we leaving? Are we done? Oh, okay. Well, we're done. Hey, guys, this is Recovery Room. Thank you. Nobody gave me any signs. We're done. Okay, well, thank you guys. Anyway, it is not your attitude, it is not your aptitude, but it is your attitude that determines your outcome. Guys, keep an attitude of kindness and of joy.
To see if you were there waiting for me.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
But you were
We'll be
not.
back on Monday. Have a great weekend. Peace.
So I sat back with a broken heart. I waited till 3 to see if you would come looking for me, but you did not. So I fell asleep with a broken heart.